Have you ever believed something only to find out later it wasn't true, but somehow it still affected your decisions? This phenomenon is called the continued influence effect, and it's surprisingly common. Even when false information is retracted, like myths about vaccines or information about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, people often keep relying on it. But can warnings help reduce this effect? This study tested whether warnings about misinformation could help reduce reliance on it, depending on when they were given, before or after exposure. Participants read a fictitious story about a warehouse fire presented a few sentences at a time. Initially, the story stated that a closet near a short circuit contained volatile materials. Later, participants learned that the closet was empty. Warnings were introduced in two ways. One group saw the warning before the story began, that's the forewarning group. Another group saw it after exposure to the misinformation, but before the retraction, that's the post-warning group. There was also a group that only received the retraction and two control groups, one with no retraction and one with no misinformation at all. Afterwards, participants answered questions like what caused the toxic fumes. Researchers then scored their answers based on whether the participants relied on the misinformation or ignored it. So what did the researchers find? All three retraction groups, the post-warning, forewarning, and the retraction only, relied less on the misinformation compared to the no retraction group. However, the forewarning group was the most effective at reducing their reliance on misinformation, and this group performed better than the post-warning and retraction only group. However, the timing of the post-warning may have caused some confusion, making participants interpret the warning as the actual misinformation itself. To test this, a second study was conducted where the post-warning was given immediately before the participants took the questionnaire. This experiment also tested whether the effects lasted by retesting the participants a week later. The results were consistent. Forewarning worked best regardless of the timing of the post-warning. However, its benefits faded over time. Why was forewarning more effective? The authors suggest because it helps people process information by tagging it as suspect. This makes it easier to reject it later. Over time, though, this suspicion tag fades and the misinformation seeps back in. Bottom line, forewarning works, but only for a while. Great news for misinformation. How about you? Do you find yourself relying on misinformation even after it has been retracted? Why do you think people continue to do so? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.